It is Tuesday, May 13th, I believe, 2025. See if third time's a charm. Tried doing the live stream a couple times actually earlier this morning in case any of you guys got that notification, but then it just quickly failed. So might have just been the area that I was in. It was kind of I guess, a cellular dead zone. Um, there was only getting like 1 bar, 2 bars. I was trying to do a live stream there. Thought it would be a good host to show, but apparently the signal wasn't working. It is also overcast today, so it's supposed to be getting rain tonight and then into a little bit into the morning. So that's usually part of the cause of the issues when it comes to live streaming is if it's a gray overcast day, it does not work as well as if it's a blue sunny sky day. The cell signals and stuff seem to be a lot better. So uh, we'll try it again here on this one. And so in case you, yeah, just to mention that in case you guys did see if YouTube did send a notification out on that last one that I was trying to do, that why it was failing. It kept just not working out. Around the other side here. Whoa. I always forget to grab my keys. You notice that trend? Every time I'm doing the live stream and I get out, that I forget. Put the keys on my lap when I take it out of the ignition and then forget to grab it. I'll grab the little tripod just in case. Kind of fits on my little side pocket. I can tighten the zipper on there to hold it. Let's see what we got going on today. Yeah, this one got 2 on this street that are just really tiny little yards. Got the Milwaukee stuff. You can probably see from the lighting how it's a dreary, overcast type day. So hopefully the streaming works. We'll see. Currently it's streaming pretty quick, it seems. So it should be pretty good, but we'll see as we move around. It could be an issue. This one's kind of an interesting situation with the front yard here. Technically, this is the neighbor's patch, and I don't know what they did to it. A big burnt spot on it, right there. That was not there last week. Somebody's done something to it. This little spot here. Oof. Sucking in the diesel fumes. I see the sun is running with this truck. Again, one of those unique situations. You can see the fence post there, so technically part of this little strip is neighbors, but I just mow the entire thing, of course. I'm not gonna just leave a little strip of grass. funky mushroom growing there. Something. There's a dead bird. Not sure where that came from. I don't know what that black thing is. Again, this one's interesting because see there's stuff in the way, bags and stuff, so I can't really trim all the way up there. So it's getting kind of overgrown. But and then this little lattice is to keep the dogs away from the gate, I guess. Dog fence, you can see as well. Going through the gardens here. Got stuff just to keep the dogs out. Certain areas. This one also is one that got to keep your eye open for the dog landmines. They try to clean them up, but you can find some gems sometimes hiding in the grass if it's growing relatively quick. It's a bit loud. This area they just seeded apparently. It's like all dirt. I'm not sure if maybe the dogs tore it up. They normally only have I think one dog, but for a little while they had some family member dogs here as well, so there's 3 for a bit. So I can imagine the dogs get a bit rambunctious together. They're up the lawn. Just thankful. It looks like they haven't found any landmines yet today. It's actually pretty surprising. There's usually at least one, but hey, we're not done yet, right? It's growing nice and thick over here. So I actually juggled a couple of lawns yesterday. Normally I would be doing this one and the one down the street a little bit later in the day, but because I juggled some, a couple of reasons. I've got an extra Wednesday one this week. I'm starting. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me. It's a corner lot one with a lot of trimming. So I wanted to make sure I had some space, and also with the rain coming, they just say that it's going to be into the morning, so I don't know what that means, how long into the morning or what, so just wanted to make sure. These little tree beds here would be good candidates to test out the bed redefiner attachment on the Milwaukee. Keep that in mind. Look at that front garden too, actually, come to think of it. this up a bit so I can get the mower to clear this. Yeah, I don't know where the heck that bird came from. Just trying to see if there was, yeah, like this here. This would be a good candidate maybe as well to do a bed redefiner on. So these little stones here, the neighbor has added. Because the driveways are so tight that when they park their car in the driveway, I guess you can't walk up. You have like visitors. So they added these stepping stones to the lawn, which these were never here before this year. So another thing to have to kind of trim. You see they lead right up to the neighbor's front door. You can hear all the construction trucks going. There's this whole like green belt area here that is being turned into another neighborhood. So they're going to be extending this road here. We'll take the Milwaukee blower with us. Oh. This X-Mark mower doesn't quite fit in my trailer. I usually have this little 2x3 on the other side of those, and it stops the mower, but the X-Mark doesn't fit. So unfortunately, it kind of rides up and moves a little bit and then ends up rubbing against the door. And of course I've got those like roofing shingles on there, so it's not slippery, but it ends up, you can see that, taking the paint off that entire handle there. This X-Mark mower is got a nice cut, but one of the downsides to it is the self-propel does not work unless the blades are spinning, because it's using the exact same transmission as the gas version. It's essentially the gas version mower. The only difference is the motor itself being battery powered. I would call that mower I was thinking about that this morning. I would classify this X-Mark mower as like a compliance mower. If that makes any sense, if you know anything about like electric cars, where a few years ago, before electric cars started to get kind of gain their popularity that they are having now, some manufacturers for certain areas, like for example California, that would have like stricter emission pollution guidelines because of all the smog and stuff, traffic gridlock, they would require car companies to have electric vehicles for sale as an option. So some car companies like Kia would be one of them, that before they were able to develop their own like full electric car, what they did was they made compliance cars. And just basically what it sounds like, a car that would comply with the legislation. And they did that by just taking a regular gas car, taking the gas engine out of it, and putting a electric power plant in it. So my the used electric car that I bought for my kids to use to drive to university and back is one of those first generation Kia Soul electric EVs. So basically it's just the gas version that if you open the hood, instead of like a electric car having a frunk like most electric cars do, because they would be designed as an electric car, so the wheel motors and all that stuff would be kind of integrated into their design. With compliance cars, you don't get that. So you literally open the hood and it looks like a 4-cylinder engine, except it's the whole electric motor, charger, transaxle, all in there. And then if you look underneath the car, you can see where the battery is kind of hanging down a little bit lower. And then on the inside of the car, the floorboard is a little bit higher than the gas version. So they kind of make that space there for the battery. So I would classify this mower in that sense. It is a compliance vehicle, or a compliance mower, in that X-Mark Toro basically just took their gas mower and kept it the same, except for putting the battery power plant on it. So that's why the transmission on this does not work for self-propel unless the blades are spinning, because of course on the gas model it requires the engine turning to turn the belts that make that work. An electric motor does not turn or spin unless you're mowing, and hence the transmission doesn't work when you're just trying to push the mower. That's one of the downsides of this mower for me, why I don't use it very often, despite it having a better, I think, cut quality, is the fact that self-propel doesn't work. And as you can see here, I've got lots of different areas to traverse in my neighborhoods. I'm in a hilly area, so having that self-propel to be able to, push the mower itself going up hills and things is handy. There's that whole gravel area that I went through from between the front yard and backyard, which is hard to push the mower, especially if you got your hands full with other things, trimmer, blower, and stuff, if you're trying to consolidate, if the parking is not very good. I'm trying to carry more stuff in. So, yeah, that's why I classify this particular mower as a compliance mower. I call it, just kind of borrowing the term from the car industry, although I don't think there's any, it's not complying with any legislation, I don't think. Anywhere, I don't think anywhere at the moment. It's not here in Canada, and I don't think in the U.S., although possible in the U.S. I've heard some where, battery mowers are mandatory. It's possible. Where a lawnmower that's been designed from the ground up as electric will have, a self-propel system. It'll have basically a secondary electric motor to run as the transmission. It'll also have some other differences as well. The other thing that really surprises me about this mower that I think was really an oversight after kind of using it again compared to some others that I've had more experience now, is that you can't tell the state of charge of your battery when you're actually using the mower. The only way to check is to stop the mower, open the battery compartment, and press the button on the battery. I think that's an oversight. On the Crest mower, of course, on the controls there, where the start button is, it's got your state of charge there, kind of like 4 bars. You can see kind of roughly if you're at full battery or half battery or what. The Milwaukee mower, I haven't tried the Milwaukee mower, but I've seen it, and it has on the back of the engine housing there, it has the LEDs there, so you don't have to check the individual batteries. You can, as you're mowing, they're lit up to your battery state of charge. This one does not show you that, so you kind of gotta keep track manually, I guess, by checking the batteries individually. You kind of get into a rhythm though too, I guess, but like this one, I know that roughly it's about 4 houses that I can do if I'm on low power like I am right now, or auto, it's called on this one. The auto setting there, where the mower is on the lowest RPM possible, but it'll ramp up RPM if it feels the need. Like if you're going up a big hill and transmission is struggling, you can feel like the load, or if you're going through like really tall, thick grass, it'll automatically raise the RPM, or you can just put it on that max mode there. Of course, you get less battery life that way though. On the plus side with this mower, it does have a true high lift blade, so works very well for bagging. It lifts the grass up really nicely. You don't get too many scragglers. Right, let's see. Green bin back here. Yeah, there's a green bin. So this one, make sure I put my gloves on because of the dogs, in case there's any traces of poop on the clippings. So yeah, you can see how nicely it packs the bag on this one. Oh my goodness. Just check the bottom of the deck too. It's pretty lush. Might need a wipe down. It's not too bad, but we'll wipe her down. Took this mower out of storage yesterday. Looks like I didn't really give it a proper cleaning last time I used it. It's been probably over a year since I used that mower. I don't think I used it at all in 2024. Or actually, no, I did use it. But it was the only time I actually used it last year was on my own front lawn. Just to keep it kind of in semi-rotation so the batteries aren't sitting around. You see I'm being pretty gentle with the throttle on the blower. Don't need much for grass clippings. That bird is a mystery. I don't know where that bird came from. Just put that lattice back. I think I can probably set up the tripod on the next one. At least in the backyard. Oh, forgot that little strip there. I have to go back and cut that the other side of the driveway. Oh, probably because was the truck there? I can't remember. So I tell you about the live streaming. This is another thing to think about. It leads to distractions sometimes. So I always make sure to double check. Just do a quick walk through with the blower in all those areas. Even if they're like spots you wouldn't normally mow. Just to make sure you haven't missed anything. Alright. So the next one, actually I gotta go put the last month's bill in the door first. And then put that one there. And I will just leave that up for a second while I grab that bill. Unlock the truck. No cars coming, so. Doggy's making himself known. So I always get asked the question why I leave the guards on my trimmers. And most times it's that when I'm taking it out of the trailer, I can just hang it there. And in some cases, like this particular neighborhood, where there's a couple lawns down the block from each other, and it's just a residential neighborhood, not a busy road, I'll just leave it there and drive to the next one. And then that way, when I get out of the truck, I can just grab the trimmer and start trimming. The Bluetooth is probably going to switch to the truck momentarily for the microphone. So just a heads up for that. Hopefully the cell signal works well at the end of the street as well. Doing a bunch of construction at the end of this road too, so I'm going to have to park on this side and block my client's driveway. And let's see, I'm talking to the client about his boulevards and stuff, and we're going to hold off doing any sort of fertilizing and renovations to it because of the construction. So there I can get out of the truck, lock it, walk around, and the trimmers there are ready for me to go. So this one is one that is probably one of my worst condition ones. This neighborhood is absolutely horrible for the quality of the soil conditions and such that the builders, these relatively new houses, left behind. It looks good at first. I actually have some really nice photos on these lawns. But over time, they just started to deteriorate really quickly. And then we had that heat dome a couple of years back during the pandemic, where it was kind of unexpected. Basically like Las Vegas temperatures here, which is not normal for us here. And most people don't water their lawns. They don't have irrigation or sprinklers. And so when that heat dome hit, it absolutely killed lots of trees and lawns, and lots of them never recovered. You see like these bare spots of soil. There's like nothing here, right? So I was talking to him about that, and it's starting to get pretty horrible looking. I go over it every week, but it's just weeds. And then of course now there's all this construction and construction fencing. So we're holding off this year. And then he said he was going to actually get sprinklers put in once all this construction down the road is done. They're just doing all of the access roads to that neighborhood, so that's where it's going to start. So for now, All we're doing is doing what we can do. And this one, know what we can. I'm sure why the city requires these like orange fence setups to protect the trees during construction, but they're not doing any construction here. It's just a lead up. But I guess because of the staging of dump trucks and stuff, we can see it there. They require the trees to be protected, but man, it's going to be a tall grass video inside there. You can already see it's already getting jungle style. Let me know if you guys have any questions. You can hear the audio as well. Let me know if you guys have lawns that are just transition areas. Blackberries creeping again. I don't like trimming too much in the air conditioning. Yeah, you get a bunch of crud and crap built up on the grills, and if the homeowner is not cleaning them, it could cause some issues with the unit overheating or shutting down. Jumping around. This one always has lots of usually toys in the yard. Oh, yeah, I'm disappointed. Lovely. Okay, that's a little bit worse than usual. It's never usually like this. Wow, I literally have not seen this much stuff left on the lawn here before. Usually it's a toy or two. Garden hose, we got yikes. That's a bit excessive. That's where those surcharges come into play. It's listed on your contract. Make sure that the yard is clean, that you can toys pick up. Obviously I'm filming this, so I have ample evidence. Add a few extra dollars to the bill. Cleaning up after them. This net is new too. This is a pain. The only reason I moved that one is it was relatively light. You get this here because the fence was falling over. I'll just leave the net for now so I can, lots of noise. It's construction noise. So yeah, that where I was parked on that last house is kind of the one entry, and then at the end of this street here is another dead end, and that's where the road is gonna connect and go through. So hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully by next year, the road part, the construction will be done because, of course, building the houses and stuff in that new neighborhood will take a few years. But if the road is done, then hopefully we can start working on this lawn again next year. Get it whipped into shape. That'll make some good videos. But I've actually got some really good footage of this one. From when if you look through my channel for Xmark content, the video I did with the original commercial Xmark Commercial 21, the gas mower, I did on this property, and the lawns were fantastic looking at that time. Lush and green, laying some nice stripes along that boulevard where all those orange fences are. It's quite the stark contrast from what it looks like today. Just one of those situations where, having poor soil conditions, I was able to maintain this lawn when weather patterns were normal, with like aeration, fertilizer, kind of the basic stuff. But once that heat dome hit, and clients aren't normally watering, it was all downhill from there. And the problem too is that the city has some strict watering restrictions when it comes to lawns. So you can only water 1 day a week, and it goes based on your address, and it's very early in the morning. And most people, if you don't have a irrigation system, you're not going to get out of bed to come outside and turn on your water and move a little, manual sprinkler around the yard at 5 o'clock in the morning. So most people just don't water. So nice to know that this client is going, at least considering, putting their sprinkler system in. Otherwise, it's going to be looking at this. Yeah, it's probably, in terms of condition, currently this one is probably the worst condition one at the moment. And like I said, it used to be one of the nicest ones. So it kind of feels funny to be mowing certain spots here. Probably doesn't look like it's doing anything, but there are some high spots that I'm knocking down. And the price has stayed consistent, even though, oh, there goes the battery. Seeing there's that war, the lack of a battery indicator on this mower. You can hear it beeping. It's kind of an annoyance. Should have some sort of a yeah. She done. All right. Got the Blue Yeti AC180 here. Turn that unit on. We're at 100% there. I'm going to turn on my AC outlets. So we got power to AC. Got my X-Mark charger there. So that's now charging. Drawing about, it's rapidly climbing, 400. That's leveling out about 440 watts that charger is pulling. And then I got a spare. This one is fully charged. And we'll continue on. So I think that battery takes like, let's see what time. Well, actually I won't be able to know exactly when it finishes charging. So there's no point in timing it right now because I won't be able to keep an eye on it. But normally I think it's about 90 minutes or so. Those X-Mark chargers, they call it a rapid charger, but it's only 5 amps. So that's not very rapid in comparison to other chargers. I'm sure they probably have something else that would be faster, but that's just the standard one that comes with the mower. It is nice though having that Blue Eddy AC 180 power station. That is just amazing to be able to charge batteries on the go, for it to be brand agnostic. That I can put, whether it's Xmark or bring the Milwaukee chargers. The Milwaukee one will be actually awesome because once I get that Milwaukee mower, Milwaukee sent me the supercharger that they just released. So I think it's rated to do like the batteries. Can't remember what size batteries, if it was like the 8s or the 12s. But it's supposed to like charge them in like 15 minutes or something like that. Or 30 minutes. It's a dual bay supercharger. So that will be awesome with that Blue Yeti paired up. The other thing I'd like to do is try out the Blue Yeti car charger. They've got a whole bunch of different ways that you can charge those power stations. Obviously, the most obvious one is plug it into your wall socket, your AC outlet at home, and you're charging your batteries that way. And then the other option that they give you is it includes a 12-volt DC plug, so like a cigarette lighter type charger you can plug. So that'll give you like a trickle charge. I could have that plugged in right now. But that would be really slow. It's kind of a last resort. And then that unit can take solar panels as well. And it's able to accept up to 500 watts of solar. So you could have like, especially if you have like an enclosed trailer, you could set up like solar panels on the roof of your enclosed trailer, or even if you had a ladder rack on your truck, like I used to have, one that went from over the bed and the canopy that I have, the truck cap, that extended over the cab of the truck. You could have solar panels on something like that if you wanted. I'm not too keen on the solar just because it's always raining here and cloudy and stuff. But their car charger kit is something that I'm interested in, because that unit comes with the car charger itself. It's basically like a little box. Kind of looks like a stereo amplifier from like old school like car stereo days. And actually it comes with all the wiring for it, which also reminds me of the car boombox stereo days with a big power negative and the big red power cords you'd see. Same thing comes with, I think it's like 16 feet of power cable and the fuses and everything that you need to hook up directly to your car's battery, which is obviously hooked up directly to your car's alternator. And with that unit, it would allow up to 500 watts of charging every time your vehicle's running. So that would be awesome, because then basically you're turning your truck to a big generator to charge the mobile portable power station. So for us in the lawn care, I gotta sneeze, hold on one second. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that dust. So in kind of lawn care, especially lawn care industry, I think that would be great, because we're always driving. You're driving in between houses and properties. Sometimes, depending on the time of day, I know for me, towards the end of the day, where you might be needing that extra power in the power station, is also when anything after 2:30 in the afternoon, traffic is already getting crazy. So if I'm on any of the main roads, you're doing a lot of sitting around. So you'd be getting that topping off the power station every time you're driving in between properties. So I think that is going to be a really good little combination. The other little trick that Blue Eddy has up its sleeve is they also sell expansion batteries. So that unit has a 1152 watt hour battery built into it, which is pretty massive. If you remember the Crest battery mower I was using with the big red suitcase batteries, each of those batteries was 660 watts. So it's basically just under 2 of those suitcase batteries, the capacity of that power station. So, but then they also sell expansion batteries. Basically, it looks like another power station that would sit underneath that power station, or you could put it to the side, I guess. But it hooks up to that power station and just gives you a expanded battery, and you can increase that 1152 watt hour capacity that's built into it up to, I think it's 4,300 watt hours with expansion batteries for that particular model. They do have much bigger models as well. Have bigger built-in batteries and much more expansion capabilities, and like even 220 volt outlets. Second, we got a question. Kev Williams, how long does it take to charge? How long does it take to charge? About 90 minutes for that one. The Milwaukee charger is like an hour for a 12 amp hour battery. If you're using the supercharger, probably 30 minutes. That Blue Eddy is able to provide up to 1,800 watts of output. So it's got plenty of space. I actually have a video I did of the Blue Eddy this past weekend, when I first got it. I go over the unit in detail if you want to check it out. And I loaded up with 4 chargers, charging 2 Crest batteries, and 1 Milwaukee battery, and 1 Exmark battery, and with 4 battery chargers, all of what those brands would call their rapid chargers, it was pulling in 1,250 watts. So still well under the 1,800 that Blue Eddy is able to provide. The Blue Eddy also has a power, or what do they call it, high lifting mode, they call it, which allows you basically to, there's a little, like in the settings that you can switch on, and it allows up to 20, I think it's 2,500 watts of power output. So for just, if you need like a high demand situation, something that I would think of it more as like not long-term draw, something that just needs a short draw, like say an electric motor. Maybe you got something, a ported tool in or something that at 1,800 watts, that initial, when you pull the trigger of a circular saw, although I did test a circular saw in that video, and it had no issues at 1,800 watts. But some electric DC motors are going to have that initial surge, so you can turn that high lifting mode. Same as like a regular gas generator that would have, like, I have a gas generator at home, like a small, like Honda EU 2000 like clone type thing, except it's a Yamaha. And let me go behind this net so I can put this net back. And it's like 1,800 watts as well, but it's like 2200 peak, right? So it's that same idea. The high lifting mode is just for those short bursts that you might need. So it's capable of doing up to 2500, but 1800 is what it's really rated for on that Blue Eddy. Let's move this net back in there. Kev says that 90 minutes is plenty. Quick enough? Yeah, it is quick enough. Especially when you have other batteries going on these X-Mark batteries. I can do about 4 houses. So, by the time you trim and mow and blow and driving through neighborhoods and stuff, 4 houses, it's already been past 90 minutes. And then the fact that, so it's usually, I think you could probably, the other thing too is that you don't have to think about charging batteries in terms of waiting till it's completely done. Like if you guys have ever seen Solar Punk Lawn Care, Steve, I interviewed him on the podcast, and he's in Florida and has the solar panels on his trailer and all that sort of stuff. And he actually will like mow, and then when he's done mowing, he puts the battery and puts it on the charger when he goes in between houses. And so he's like topping off in between, so it's not requiring a full from empty charge. It's just topping off each time. And then he's not in that kind of situation of waiting around for batteries and stuff. So just a kind of different way to look at it, of course, because these modern lithium batteries don't have any memory. So a charge cycle is only counted in terms of like warranty, or the life, usable life, is only counted in terms of, one complete empty to complete fully charge would be one charge. So if you're only charging the battery half, that's only half a charge, half a cycle. The other nice thing with that Blue Eddy is that it is rated for 3,500 charge cycles, and before it will drop to about 80% of its total capacity. So that's pretty crazy. It uses lithium iron phosphate batteries, so much longer lasting batteries, much safer, like super safe technology versus regular lithium ion batteries. And that 3,500 charge cycles, if you think about that, that's before, again, the battery just hitting 80% of its initial capacity. So if it starts out at 1152 watt hours, after 3,500 charge cycles, you can expect it to be probably like 1,000 watt hours, or whatever 80% is. And that 3,500, if you were to charge, is comparable to taking that power station, charging it from 0 to 100% every day for 10 years. So pretty incredible how far battery technology has come. Kev says, I just ordered 2 of the Crest prosumer models. Got a good deal on the batteries. I'll check that Blue Eddy video when you finish. Thanks. Yeah, the Crest is awesome. Still, I think for like battery equipment. I think they're probably the top. Um, the biggest issue, of course, with the Crest is the price. Is just that's the biggest complaint I get from people that watch all my Crest videos, and I absolutely 100% understand that. If you think about that Blue Eddy, the great example. I'm able to charge batteries brand agnostic, so I can plug in the Xmark chargers, I can plug in the Milwaukee chargers, you can expand it. It doesn't matter what brand you need to charge. You can take it out on the weekend and use it for a camping trip, use it in emergencies to power your fridge at home. And that unit here in Canada is $799 with 1152 amp hour battery. In the US, that unit's $499. It's 500 bucks. Now you think about the Crest like Cyber Light, which is awesome, absolutely fantastic, but you can only use it to charge the small Crest batteries, and the charger itself is $1,000. You need the regular Crest rapid charger to be able to charge the batteries, because you can't plug that Cyberlight into the wall to charge batteries off of it. It's only for doing DC to DC. And then you still need one of the Cyber capsule batteries, or one of the red suitcase batteries. And those here, like the Cyber capsule, is like $2,700 for a Cyber capsule battery. So you're looking at $2,700 for a Cyber capsule. Yes, it's 1,500 watt hours, so it's bigger than the Blue Eddy, but not by much, by 450 watt hours or so. And that is costing $2,700 here, at least. And then you need the $1,000 Cyber Light, and you need a $1,000 rapid charger. So you're looking at like $4,700 versus $800 to do the exact same thing and be able to do it with any brand. So a portable power station just makes more sense. Makes a lot more sense. So Kev, you're going to be running prosumer Crest batteries on the Crest mower and equipment? So much going on in this neighborhood today. That's going to have to wait. Is that the... Oh, I forgot about the tripod. Darn it. Forgot about the tripod on that one. Where am I at here? You turn the camera around. And again, the audio is going to switch. Let me so I'm not in the way.
Little bit of so just bear with me as the audio kind of switches. There's a bit of a traffic jam here right now, though. That dump truck was moving, but I wanted to move the truck because the customer had just come home and he's parked on the road, so I have to give him his driveway back. But yeah, there's a little bit of a traffic jam happening. The dump truck is trying to back up a tandem trailer, and there's some parked cars here on the road. Which normally there's like no parking signs here. Right now they're in construction, but at any rate, it's that Blue Eddy just makes a lot of sense for what we're doing. Just adds a whole bunch of versatility and the power stations in general. The versatility to be able to charge and the different options for charging. Find somewhere else to pull over to just trying to finish off. I always feel for these large vehicles, the dump trucks and stuff. I know what he's going through when you got a trailer and you're trying to go through tight neighborhoods and stuff. Now the next one I got, I should continue doing the stream. I don't even know what my battery is at for the phone. Let me see if I can find somewhere up the road. Pull over and check to see if I can continue the stream or if it's going to be, I'm going to have to call it a day. Phone battery. It takes a lot of juice to stream. I do have the other battery, but it doesn't really work well with that shoulder, but I could use the cord, I guess. It's always a pain using like a cord with like a portable battery on the phone. So it's always getting in the way when you're trying to trim and stuff. All I know stopping around the side of the road here. Bear with me. If there's any questions or anything right now that pop up, just bear with me. I can't concentrate on the driving. I'm just got on my chest. I forgot to kick stop on this road here. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. Can't stop along this road here. I got cars behind me. Back behind the dump truck still. He's waiting to turn left. There he goes. I'm going to turn right. And see, is there anyone over here? Or should I just neighborhood? I'm just going to go to the neighborhood. Nowhere to even park. Actually, there's a spot here, but continue on. Go to the next neighborhood, and I'll check the phone battery again. Once I can look at the screen. Residential neighborhood. There's lots of spots for me to park here, but there's a church area, I think, that usually has some spots along the road beside the church that we can just quickly pull over and see. Actually, there's a spot right here. I'll just go right here. Just to quickly look at the phone in a safe manner. Alright, bear with me. Let me see here. Ooh, I'm at 36%. So that is rough. Let me see my. Usually I use the little MagSafe type charger, but that's not going to work with the bracket on the back of the phone. But that only has USB-C. Yeah, that's not going to work. I don't have a USB-C cable for that. I forgot this doesn't have USB-A on it. I have my regular lightning cable there. What we got here? USB-C, USB-A. I need a USB-C to lightning, which is sitting on my desk at home. So yeah, I'm gonna have to just call it end of the stream for this one. Uh, yeah, I'm just gonna call it the end of the stream for this one. The next house I'm gonna do anyways is one I've done. It's the one with the dappled willow tree in the backyard. I've done like a bunch of live streams from that house, so you do that one with the turf tracer. So we'll have to call it for that one. Let's see. Kev says got the batteries free with the chargers with the purchase of the prosumer mower 18 and 21 inch. And that comment repeated 3 times. Couldn't justify the cost of the commercial range. Yeah, the commercial range is really expensive. It's cutting edge technology, I guess you could say, with the fact that you can charge those batteries so fast. The problem though is you can only charge those batteries like the 8-minute cyber system, which is incredible to charge batteries from 0 to 100% in 8 minutes. But you need the cyber tank. Actually, hold on. Let me just shut the truck.
And get the mic back on. I forgot that the truck's running and it's on Bluetooth, so it's not going to be very loud. But at any rate, yeah, the commercial range is super expensive, and it is, it's incredible in terms of technology and stuff like that. To be able to charge, like you look at those suitcase batteries, the Crest ones, how big that battery is, to be able to charge that in 8 minutes from 0 to 100%, but that only works if you have the cyber tank in your truck. And that is another, I don't even know the price of that thing. I know it's well over $15,000 here in Canada. It's probably a lot more than that. It's just very difficult to justify that for any business, I think. Given the fact that technology is rapidly advancing and other companies are catching up. Like when I first started using the Crest commercial range, I was amazed at like that big suitcase battery that I could do like 12 lawns with it or something like that, or 10 lawns with it on average. Well, with the, like say, like the trimmers and things like that, it's like even with the Milwaukee stuff now with their Forge batteries, I'm getting like I can go sometimes the entire day with one 12 amp hour Forge battery. It's crazy. So like the technology is just getting so good, the motors are getting so efficient that you know, and I'm not going to take anything away from Crest. I think it's still incredible stuff. Um, when they came out, it's been like 3 years, right? Well, it's been technology moves, crazily. So 3 years, a lot of companies have already, narrowed that gap in between them. So lots of other good options, and I've found, at least as a solo operator, that you don't actually need a ton of batteries. You can make it through a day with 2 or 3 batteries on an average day. Um, and that is a lot more affordable than getting into uh, some crazy priced batteries and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, lots of options. It's an exciting time if you're into battery stuff. If you're a nerd like me and you just like electronics and battery stuff, you prefer using battery tools. It's just moving at such a rapid pace that investing in something like a power station that again lets you basically it's just a portable power inverter. um, I think is a smarter choice because that technology is changing, right? Who knows um, what comes out next? But like I had heard that um, like Crest was coming out with an inverter type charger thing, right? And initially, my first impression was like when they first came out with the rapid charger, that big 30 amp rapid charger, that like, well, why can't you make that to also charge batteries off of like DC to DC? And why does that not have an electrical outlet on it that you can have a like a built-in inverter with it and be able to power other things with that when you're not using it when you've outlaid so much cost. So it makes, but Crest has it that way. Whether who knows why they have it that way? Probably for just selling more product. I would think that they have the separate chargers $1,000. Then if you want the Cyberlight, that's a completely different system, $1,000. Then like I heard that the inverter that they were going to have was going to be a whole completely different unit again, kind of like the Cyberlight, but instead of having a space for a battery to charge on one side off of one of those cyber capsules, it would have the inverter on the other side. So it's like 3 separate devices. It's like, why can't this be all in one, or why can't the inverter be designed in a way that is like a battery that just slips onto the other side that would take a charge, and it's an inverter instead. Um, so when you think about those types of things and how quickly things change and what technology is here today, doesn't it just makes more sense to get a generic power station that you can use to power any device, any brand, that sort of thing. That's my kind of feeling with it. And yeah, so at any rate, it's early days still with me with this power station. This is only like the second day that I've been using it, but so far, so good. Like I said, I don't really need between the 2 or 3 batteries or whatever. I might charge a battery or two on there um, throughout the day. Uh, so it's more than enough in those cases. Again, because battery technology is just getting so good that they're lasting so much longer. So having something like that, a small portable power station like that, just makes sense to have that top off batteries as you need to throughout the day, just to make sure. For like example, with that Xmark mower, it comes with 2 batteries. I have a third battery for it, and for most times that will get me through the day. But there are times through like heavy growth seasons and things like that where I need a fourth battery. So what I do with that is I start out the morning with the first battery. Once that one's depleted, like you saw there, through that last house, the battery depletes. I would at this point go home, throw it on the charger, and then continue on my route with the next 2 batteries. And then that way by the afternoon, that battery would be charged already at home because it's only about 90 minutes to charge. So then sometime in the afternoon, I would swing by the home again and pick up that last battery to have with me just in case the third battery runs out or I need that extra power. If I'm having to, like, in those like thick, heavy conditions in the fall, stuff like that, where you got to run the tool on, like the max mode and stuff to get that maximum bagging for like wet leaves and stuff like that. So I would have, you'd go through batteries a bit quicker. So that's one of those situations. So in this case, it's like, well, I can just throw it on uh, the power station there, right? And it's charging in the truck. So then I never have to worry about that, about having to go back and forth to home and stuff like that to get it charged up and stuff. It's just charging here as we speak. I don't know if you guys can hear the fan running on the power station. It's got two fans, one that draws in air and the other one that blows out air. So it's got really good cooling going through the power station to keep everything cool. So that's it for this one. I'm gonna go continue to that next one. Like I said, unfortunately, my battery is gonna not make it through the next mow. I don't think. Let's see where we're at now. It still says 36%. So that's. You know what? I'm gonna continue, and we'll go to the next house and see, and then I'll just monitor the phone battery from there and have to turn it off and see what we can do. But it's the same house you guys have seen in previous ones. So let's continue to that client's house. So let me just turn the camera around, and we'll keep the stream going.
Again, extra long.
Stream. The Bluetooth is going to switch again to the truck.
Let my ears breathe. Gets warm with the earmuff, over the earmuff, especially in the truck. Oh, actually, what? I am must be on the. I must be on something today. I don't even have the turf tracer with me. I still have to go home and get the turf tracer. So that's why I'm not going to the next house. That is correct. I don't have the mower with me. I didn't take it with me in the morning. So yeah, actually, I'm just gonna end the stream then. Unfortunately, Nickel is out again. Sorry, guys.
Oh, I don't know if I can even get that on. Yeah, so I'm just gonna end the stream. Actually, I just remembered I don't even have the turf tracer with me. I gotta stop by at home anyways to go grab it. So yeah, thanks for joining on this live stream. You can see when doing live streams, things are chaotic. It's real life, going from house to house and all that sort of stuff. So thanks. That Kev Williams says that won't make them extra money like Apple. Yeah, that's the thing, right? They have a bottom line, and it's one of those things. And it's already a tough, difficult situation with battery stuff. The adoption, a lot of people are against battery tools and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of just people that don't believe in it and stuff. So I think they're going to have a tough go with that sort of thing. So, and don't want to say for sure, but kind of seeing some signs with that across the industry that there's, some of the battery stuff is kind of struggling. I know with, even just like a YouTube perspective, doing YouTube videos, when you do like battery stuff, it doesn't do as well as the gas powered tools and stuff. And I think it's just because a lot of people in the industry just don't care for battery stuff. Even they just have this perception that it's not good, even though it's actually better, I think, than the gas stuff in a lot of situations. Um, so it's just one of those things. So at any rate, guys, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for joining me on this one, and stay tuned. Maybe I'll do another one later in the afternoon once the battery charges up and the phone battery, and we'll go from there. So thanks again, guys.